the third part of this long what if, where we left off last time. Gero making Chaozu his unrestricted trump card led to Gohan and Katatsu being caught in his self-destruction. Bulma and Roshi now go into Namek to revive everyone. They make it to Namek without incident, and are dismayed to hear of the Namekian Dragon Ball's limitations, but Tsunar's skills as a Dragon Clan member and acknowledging Frieza may have found interest in their world if not for the Dragon Team, has him decide to upgrade the Dragon Balls to revive multiple people, and everyone Gero's group wiped out are revived. Bulma considers reviving Goku with the second wish, when asking if a heart virus counts as a natural cause, but Goku interjects when telling her he's seen Gohan, Raditz and Tenshinhan do better than he could imagine, and it's time he moved on so nobody like Gero strikes with vengeance in the future. Instead, she uses the next wish to have the coordinates for Gero's lab, in case he left another wave of artificial humans there, and Tsunar decides to take the last wish, when aware of the Earthlings having their own Dragon Clan member, who he wishes to be brought to Namek. He then tutors Katatsu on the abilities naturally brought out by the Saichoro that he lacked the time to be instructed on, such as healing or powering up Earth's Dragon Balls further. Kame-Sennin, frustrated at how useless the once legendary Muten Roshi now is, also begs to have his potential unlocked, which Tsunar has become capable of doing before the trio return to Earth. When returning, everyone storms Gero's lab and looks around. They consider destroying the dormant creations, but Tenshinhan advises against it, with Chaozu having been the only genuine threat in that group, and being confident in Gohan's abilities against what remains. 16, 17 and 18 are activated, and after the twins' attacks are stopped by Katatsu, they are thankful at the Dragon Team having saved them from Gero's machinations, and decide to stay in contact when wanting to grow to compete with them, Kuririn choosing to wish for their bombs to be removed, and gaining 18's affection. 16 is directionless without Goku around, but Gohan taking note of their shared love of nature has him befriend 16, with him often rotating his location between East District to see Gohan, Capsule Corporation for updates and retuning, as well as wherever 17 and 18 go, when they are the last connection to Gero he has. 17's time with 16 encourages him to become a park ranger. Tenshinhan also travels to Otherworld in order to persuade Enma to reincarnate Chaozu's soul immediately as someone he can tutor, when recognizing him as pure and mistreated by Surusenin and Gero. The 29th Tenkaichi Budokai occurs a year later, with 17 and 18 competing when learning of the prize money. Though they have yet to improve enough to match the high tiers, it encourages both to do so. Gohan wins the junior division, with Videl becoming runner-up, having improved drastically when started to be tutored by Tenshinhan. Speaking of him, Tien decides to go into the Room of Spirit and Time, gaining ki on par with the base Saiyans, and mastery of Kaioken up to 50 times as the answer to Super Saiyan, but being unable to negate its drain on his ki has him lose to Raditz. Katatsu, on the other hand, has more success with a lower level of Kaioken, boosting his already great power, to the point he manages to win, despite only being able to use up to times 10. Even after Vegeta's rage at his inferiority allows him to unlock Super Saiyan 2. Knowing the gap that's formed has him focus on enhancing Super Saiyan 2 further when unsatisfied by its ki. When Trunks turns 5, Vegeta orders him to start sparring with him to make him the ideal counter to Gohan, being both surprised and glad at his strength as a Super Saiyan even greater than usual from play fighting with both Daikon and Fugumeni. It's soon after that the 30th Tenkaichi Budokai occurs, where Trunks gets to the finals of the junior division, but is no match for Gohan. Vegeta sweeps through the competition even with Raditz having achieved Super Saiyan 2, and 17 having become stronger than Raditz. Though Vegeta considers getting rid of his opponents, his victory and Trunks' progress has him choose to bask in superiority over his rivals. Before that though, a highlight match within the Budokai is Tenshinhan vs Muten Roshi, where Roshi's mix of training again and utilizing his version of Ultra Instinct, has him surprise Tenshinhan with a counter throw to win by Renout, reminding his students there's always more to learn as a martial artist. Trunks then achieves Super Saiyan 2 a year later, and Tenshinhan manages to eventually attain Kaioken times 100 as his attempt to keep up with Super Saiyan 2. As for Gohan, his status as the eternal champion of the junior division provides enough interest he decides to write about ki cultivation as a thesis, and makes many interested in such, having Muten Roshi revive the Kame Senryu, and those who advance beyond it being told to seek out Tenshinhan for further tutelage. By the time the 31st Tenkaichi Budokai is scheduled in age 774, Gohan and Videl are eligible for the adult division and put their studies on hold. Raditz helps them by Daikon and Fukumeni joining in their Shugyo, Videl being able to keep up with their base forms through the Kaioken Tenshinhan taught her. They are further encouraged when learning Goku will join in. The junior division has Daikon prove a challenge before being defeated by Trunks, whereas Fukumeni, inheriting her mother's fiery motivation, has caused her to push herself enough to match Trunks' power and win with the skills her father taught her, that he based on Goku's own philosophy that he'd focused on when taking a year in the Room of Spirit and Time to try and catch up to Vegeta. The unique aspects of the room instead sending him down the other route of Super Saiyan 3. As for the adult division, the roster consists of all the Dragon Team, as well as Shin, Kibito, and Yamu. 16 also gets apprehensive when seeing Goku, but using the halo to show he's already dead, has 16 view de-escalating the conflict as logical. The first match is Kuririn vs Tenshinhan, where despite Kuririn having improved enough when pushed further by 18, Tenshinhan is still too strong and skilled. Katatsu forfeits against Shin as usual, and Videl is matched up against Yamcha, where her dedication to utilizing her great talent pays off in Videl's victory. Gohan then shows off Super Saiyan 2 to Kibito, and is drained as usual with Raditz, Videl, Tenshinhan, and 17 joining the regular group searching for Babidi. Daikon, Fukumeni, and Trunks tailing behind when bored waiting around. 17 is targeted by Dabura, but makes sure not to have his good clothes spat on, and swiftly puts an end to him. Vegeta then acts irate about the situation, which has Babidi catch on to his evil heart, and chooses to possess him once the group enter the spaceship. Though confident in his own power, Vegeta has felt conflicted about not getting rid of Raditz and the others when he had the chance, and still desires to be as heartless as he used to, using Babidi to see if that can be done. Meanwhile, 18, Nappa, and Roshi, being the only ones left, has them agree to a battle royale. The previous Budokai have made her aware of how both fight, but her attempt to take out Nappa first is countered by Roshi's Bankoku Bikurisho, momentarily halting her before Nappa punches her out of the ring. Though Roshi's techniques would be perfect against a brutish fighter, Nappa hands back when highly motivated to win, when not having the drive to keep up with the younger Saiyans, who've surpassed him constantly, and seeing this as his one opportunity to stand above them. He eventually does so through his long-range attacks wearing Roshi down, and having Nappa become champion just before Vegeta and the others are teleported there. Here, the focus of Vegeta's ire is all the Dragon Team, but Raditz, Katatsu, and Goku particularly, two of them having humiliated him at different Budokai, and the other having been the catalyst that created the domino effect of him becoming soft. Trunks tries to stop his father, but is pushed aside as Raditz agrees to fight Vegeta one-on-one, while the rest apprehend Babidi and goes Super Saiyan 3 right from the start, only to still be outdone by Vegeta. The damage is enough Boo's meter is filled up almost immediately, and 17 faces Boo, though having become strong enough he can easily overpower Boo. His taunts and overconfidence lead to him being turned into a cookie and eaten. The full efforts of the Dragon Team, even Tenshinhan using the Kikoho he learned from observing Chaozu, can't do anything to Boo. Goku decides it's best to regroup at the Shinden, except for 18 who arrived too late to save her brother, and is filled with anger, as well as Trunks whose Saiyan pride has him continue the fight. Sensing this has Raditz convinced Vegeta to put the battle on hold to go stop Boo, and Raditz leaving it to Vegeta Vegeta when aware of Super Saiyan 3's drawback, though both arrive too late to save 18 from her brother's fate. Vegeta easily bests Buu, but Babidi's attempts to control him have Vegeta present openings for Buu to deal gradual damage, as Raditz and Trunks are forced to help out. The trio start to gain the advantage but are unable to finish Buu off, before the strain of Super Saiyan 3 proves too much for Raditz, while Trunks takes the opportunity to assassinate Babidi. It's then that, acknowledging that he has changed and it's his fault for all this, Vegeta decides to sacrifice himself as usual. It is as unsuccessful in completely destroying Buu as usual, despite being far stronger, with Raditz taking Trunks to the Shinden. As everyone learns of fusion, Shin still recommends taking Gohan to the Kaioshinkai, while the children and some of the others learn the fusion dance. Katatsu heals up Tenshinhan and Raditz, who then decide to go stop Buu. Raditz using a full-powered Kamehameha from the start. It fails to eradicate all of Buu, but is strong enough Buu is very excited to fight Raditz, to which he, Katatsu and Tenshinhan catch on to the innocence within Buu. Tenshinhan tries to reason with Buu to learn the ideals of Budo, so he may always experience fun fights without running out of strong opponents, to which Buu sees as reasonable, the conflict ending through the pure ideals Tenshinhan was taught by Roshi being passed to another. Goku then returns to Otherworld content. Gohan gets his potential unleashed and assures Buu won't do anything bad. Katatsu then tutoring Buu how to purge the evil from him. As for Vegeta, he accepts his soul being reincarnated as punishment, and Tenshinhan makes Raditz aware of this when seeing it as ideal for Raditz to bring his former leader and rival down a brighter path. The 30 seconds Tenkaichi Budokai occurs 3 years later, where both a Buu given incentive to make use of his potential, and a 17 doing the same, prove a challenge to claims of Gohan being the favourite. 17's superior stamina has him defeat Gohan in the semi-finals, before Buu's array of abilities allow him to become champion, and truly understand Tenshinhan's desire for proof of improvement as a martial artist, without walking into darkness. A Trunks far more motivated to uphold his Saiyan ideals with the loss of his father, has serious commitment of becoming stronger, and the days of peace continue for now. With the conclusion to the Boo arc and length of the video, the Super and GT routes will have to be covered in another video, so stay tuned for the finale of this scenario.